Hello everyone. This is Attorney Gehi, and welcome to this webinar brought to you by Gehi and Associates. And as usual, the name of our show is Green Card with Gehi, and this is our first session, especially after COVID. And we'll be bringing this to all of our viewers regularly. And above all, we'll be answering questions for people from the United States as well as for people from all over the world with reference to their immigration matters. So today we are going to talk about the current news, and everybody wants to know what is Joe Biden, the president of the United States, doing about immigration. So we are going to talk about what is happening over here and what are the basics, and then we'll take some questions and we'll make sure that if you have any questions, we are live over here, so we can actually, take questions and answers from people too. So 1 year of Joe Biden, impact of U.S. immigration prospects. So the president has been in power for more than a year. In terms of immigration, he's trying very hard to bring about immigration reform. But the biggest problem which he's facing is that the Republicans are not ready to help him in reforming the immigration laws of the United States of America. So, what Biden has done is that he has come up with a plan wherein a simple majority will help him to pass this particular plan. So, he's making sure that he tries to get it done through the reconciliation bill, which means that we will not need a two-third majority. So right now there are 48 senators from basically the Democratic Party who are ready to work with the president, but we at least need 50, all 50 senators, and the president can join and the vice president can vote, and we may be able to make this happen. But the problem is with two senators from the United States who belong to the Democratic Party who are not supporting BBB, that's the Build Back Better Act of America. And one of them is Joe Manchin, and the second one is Kristen Sinema. So they both are very much opposed to reform because they feel that issues such as immigration and other issues should actually be going through the two-third majority requirement. So this is holding up the immigration bill, which is the BBB. So how does the BBB work? That's very important for us. Firstly, the politicians have to do is they have to make sure that at least they have a majority. So for the majority, we are missing two people, plus the parliamentarian who actually is supposed to look at the bill has to say yes, this is acceptable. Even the parliamentarian is giving a hard time to the president. So those are some of the obstacles which are being faced. So what has happened in the past is that the parliamentarian, as well as President Biden, and people who are, for immigration reform, have met on several occasions, but they've been unable to kind of come to a consensus. So we are hoping that in the year 2022, that is this year, in the next couple of months, I hope that Joe Manchin as well as Kristen Sinema or a few Republicans can work with the president and make this particular BBB a reality. Now, the most common thing is that how is the BBB going to help? So new changes, the Build Back Better plan, how is that going to help? So right now, the thing is that it can help a lot because let's take an example that there are a lot of visas that need to be recaptured, which means from 1992 until now, there are like more than 200,000 visas in the family-based preference category that can be captured, and that can be kind of more, which means that exactly we can add those visas because those are unused visas. So how does that help? The family-based immigration category will move faster. For example, right now, the current wait time for brothers and sisters is nearly 13 years or 14 years. But if those 224,000 visas are captured back, that can come down to 6 years, 5 years, Same thing, sponsoring your children can be faster. So at the end of the day, that's one particular thing that Biden wants to do. Secondly, with H-1B visa holders who have applied for the green cards under the EB2 or the EB3 category from India or from China, they can benefit tremendously because we will be able to recapture, the visas which have just been wasted from 1992 until now. With the stroke of a pen, these people can act and they can make life easy for I-140 candidates who work so hard in this country, especially from India and China, because those priority dates are not current. So if this does not happen, what can people do? Sad will be stuck again for a very long time. So I think how can we all help out? We all need to kind of get in touch with our senators from our state. Now, if your family members are US citizens, they need to write to the senators and let them know to support the BBB. And you never know, a senator may change his mind. And that's one way how the community can actually help out. The other thing about the BBB is that, for example, they're saying that, let's take an example about someone or whose, papers are kind of in the employment-based pipeline. Or for example, if you're from India and if your permanent residence application, which means like the I-140 petition is approved, so then after 2 years, you'll be able to file even if the priority date is not current. And that's great. You'll be able to apply for, the work permit. And that's fantastic. So right now we don't have those provisions. That's another way it's going to help. But the biggest benefit of the BBB is for undocumented immigrants who have been living in the United States for a very long time. So people who have lived in the United States before January 2011 and they've been in the US, the plan of the BBB, which is right now pending for approval from the Senate, is that these people should at least get a work permit for 5 years. They should be able to extend it for another 5 years, and they should be eligible to get advance parole. So these are some of the major benefits of the BBB. And of course, they are planning on increasing the fee for the investors' visas and other visas so that what will happen is that those particular processes can go faster. So these are some of the changes. Now, what is the current status? We are all waiting once again to see that some more senators join in and the BBB becomes a reality. So we will be having this show every week. And yes, as you all can see that this is a live show, feel free to ask us your questions. So we have this question and answer page where you can ask us questions, or you all can also kind of basically zoom into the call because this is a live show. We will be taking questions from a lot of people here. So please let us know. So the show is live. And if you miss the show, we are going to kind of, make sure that we promote this regularly. So you can, create an awareness for your friends that we are live and will be, answering all your questions. So remember, every Friday at this time, we'll be having our show. And, we are open to your question and answers. Please ask us if you have any questions. And the best thing about the show is that you can ask us any question relating to immigration, wherever you are in the US or wherever you are in the world, because, we've handled immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. So also, if you have to reach our firm, you can reach us at www.gehilaw.com, or you can shoot us an email at info@gehilaw.com. So we'll be taking your questions. If you have any questions, please do let us know. And next Wednesday, same time, that's 2 p.m. East, not Wednesday, next Friday. My apologies. Next Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be available. And the next show is very important for all of you. And the show is going to be your immigration question and answers with Attorney Gehi. So next show is going to be your immigration questions and answers with Attorney Gehi. And the great news is that, so I have a question here from a viewer. So I'm going to answer this question right here. How do you see the tax regime changing between Trump and the Biden administration? So now the issue here is that as far as the tax regime is concerned, I would say that That's not an immigration related question. But what I'm thinking in terms of immigration, if people are given an opportunity to come forward and become legal in this country, then they will be paying taxes. So that's one benefit of exactly the Biden administration. And of course, there's a lot of things in the BBB about taxes and everything. And the taxes for some individuals may go up, but for some of them, it's going to benefit them. So, like any other administration, it's going to be a blessing and a curse. Even if we're going to deal with the Democratic administration, if we're going to deal with the Republican administration, you're going to have those pluses and minuses. But the way I feel is that under the Biden administration, if people are making a certain amount which is very high in the country, they will be subjected to a little more taxes. And also they're doing other things in this regard, wherein they're looking into like children should be getting better education at subsidized costs. So it's going to be an offset. It's going to be a trade-off over here in terms of the taxes. So that was a very good question. So if you have any more questions, feel free to type them, or you can also kind of come live and ask your question, because this is a live show with Attorney Gehi. Okay, we have some more questions up here over here. Does the BBB affect me if I want to move to the US from India? Uh, so that's not going to affect you, because you're moving from India to moving from India to the US. So that should not affect you in any way, because if you look at the BBB, it's meant for people like who've been here, for a long time and who've been here before 2011. So that's about it, I believe, for the show. And this was a great show. Thank you for all your cooperation. And if you have any questions about the BBB or any other immigration matter, you can email us. So now I have some more questions coming up over here. Does the BBB affect me? What are the key differences between Trump and Biden regimes? So the key difference between the Trump regime and the Biden regime. So during the Trump regime, we noticed a lot of deportations, which means that exactly like it was a, a system wherein exactly a very conservative view of the immigration laws were taken, and families were destroyed. That's one thing I would say for sure. And every petition to get it approved was like pulling teeth, and the law was extremely like harsh, and immigration laws were kind of basically dealt with with a lot of kind of restrictions. But under the Biden administration, I believe like fairness is kind of something that I've noticed, and I think that's the way to run the country, because America is a country of immigrants. People cannot forget that. Even today, if you look at what's happening in the country, there is a shortage of labor. So that is a big issue which is going on in the country right now. And look at Texas. I was in Texas recently, and what happened is there are signs outside that people cannot find labor. So we need to give it a reality check as to what's going on in the United States. We are short of labor, and we need to have the right people actually kind of come in and do the jobs, and let them pay a fine. Let undocumented immigrants pay a fine, and let them write kind of get on the books, so at least like they can pay taxes, and it's going to benefit America. So the current system is that you're looking at more than 14 million people approximately are out of status in this country, undocumented. And the immigration laws were last changed when you're looking at during the Reagan administration. Of course, during Clinton there was just basically major setbacks, but during the Reagan administration was the last change. But it is high time that we deep dive into the immigration laws and look at it very closely and do something about it. So folks, thank you very much. We had a fantastic session today, and thank you for your question and answers. Remember, next week, okay, what is the current status of the BBB Act? Will it pass? Current status is that we are waiting for the Senate, and if Biden is successful in talking to a few senators, then it may pass. We had 48, we just need 3 more, and we'll be able to cross the line. So it's only 3 senators needed, and then of course we should be able to get it through. And there's been talks about part A, part B, part C. that were failed, but let's see what Part D has to offer us. But there's been a lot of progress for sure. And your questions were great. And please do pass on this message to your friends and to your nears and dears. And thank you very much for watching Green Card with Gehi. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. That means 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Fridays with Attorney Gehi. And the name of our show is Green Card with Gehi, www.gehilaw.com. Thank you, everyone.